जा रही है और बहुत बढ़िया तरीके से भारतीय स्पोर्ट्समैन आप सबको प्रेरित किए जा रहे हैं। एक बार अभी बहुत ही जैसे प्रियंका ने बताया कि हमारे मुख्य अतिथि कुछ क्षणों में यहाँ पहुंचने वाले हैं और मैं चाहूंगा कि प्रियंका प्लीज बताएं।
So मैं अभी आपको बता रही थी लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, गर्ल्स एंड बॉयज ऑन द एनर्जेटिक, क्योंकि आप सभी में बहुत जोश है और जब से मेजर जनरल जी आए हैं, जब से तो मुझे पता लग गया कि आप सभी एक खिलाड़ी हैं, जब भी तो आज आपको अवार्ड दिया जा रहा है। और स्पेशली जब भी मैं देखती हूँ आप जैसी खिलाड़ियों को, लड़कियों को खेल के क्षेत्र में, स्पोर्ट्स में आगे बढ़ते हुए बहुत खुशी होती है, क्योंकि माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बहुत सारी योजनाएं लड़कियों के लिए स्टार्ट की हैं और कहते हैं कि एक जैसे एक योजना बनाई है, बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ। तो बेटी बचानी है, ये था माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का लक्ष्य। लेकिन अगर हम सब याद करें ओलंपिक 2016, जब आप सभी को याद होगा, सभी खिलाड़ी हैं, तो कौन मेडल लेकर आया था इंडिया के लिए? 2016 की बात है, ओलंपिक। कौन दो खिलाड़ी थे जो मेडल लेकर आए थे और देश का नाम रोशन किया था? वैसे आप सभी सही बोल रही हैं, दो बेटियां थी जिन्होंने देश का नाम रोशन किया। बेटियों ने देश को बचाया, ना कि देश ने बेटियों को बचाया। तो जितने भी हमारी महिला खिलाड़ी हैं, आप सभी से, जैसे दो बेटियों ने देश का नाम रोशन किया है, आप भी आज प्रण लेकर जाएंगी कि आप भी ऐसे ही देश का नाम रोशन करेंगी। हम सभी के बीच में, जैसा कि हम बहुत समय से इंतजार कर रहे थे, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, प्लीज वेलकम मिसेस संगीता जेटली जी एंड मिस्टर रोहन जेटली जी। हम सभी के बीच में आ गए हैं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत आभार। आप सभी का हम इंतजार कर रहे थे, सारे खिलाड़ी आज के। I request you, ma'am, Mrs. Sangeeta Jetli ji, please come up on the dais. Please take your seat first. Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Sangeeta Jetli ji is the one who has continued the legacy of former Finance Minister Arun Jetli ji. And as we all know, to initiate anything auspicious, we always take the name of God. किसी भी अच्छे काम की शुरुआत सबसे पहले ईश्वर के नाम के साथ की जाती है. So may I request all the dignitaries kindly come forward for the lamp lighting. Mrs. Sangeeta Jetli ji, Mr. Rohan Jetli ji, Shri Sunil Bharla ji, Shri रविंद्र मनचंदा जी, श्रीमती अमिता सिंह जी, मिस्टर सी के खन्ना, मिसेस संगीता चौहान जी, मिस्टर अभय प्रताप सिंह जी, मिस्टर राजीव त्यागी, मिस्टर राजकुमार शर्मा। आओ मिस्टर अशोक शर्मा जी एंड मिस्टर श्याम शर्मा जी, आपसे भी रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी लैंप लाइटिंग की तरफ और चले। आओ चले अंधकार से प्रकाश की ओर, पृथ्वी से आकाश की ओर, आत्मा से परमात्मा की ओर, सूक्ष्म से प्राण की ओर और एक प्रयास अज्ञान से ज्ञान की ओर। तो हम आगाज करेंगे गणेश मंत्र के साथ आज के कार्यक्रम को। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभा निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। वक्रतुंड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समय Ladies and gentlemen, lamp lighting brings lots of positivity in the entire atmosphere where it is lit. So आज चेतन चौहान जी की मेमोरी में हमने आगाज कर दिया है हमारे सभी आज के चीफ गेस्ट आज शुरुआत कर रहे हैं। वैसे तो ये तीसरा हमारा आज का अवार्ड शो है, लेकिन आज सबसे स्पेशल है क्योंकि हमारे साथ आज सभी आप खिलाड़ी आए हैं। मिसेस संगीता जेटली जी, प्लीज टेक योर सीट ऑन द स्टेज। I would like to call on stage, ladies and gentlemen, we have a esteemed presence of our chief guest, and I am very delighted to call upon stage. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Chetan Chauhan ji, President Delhi Cricket Association. और अब मैं बुलाना चाहूंगी सुशासन, सटीक और जो हमने जैसे मैंने बताया बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ हो या फिर जितने भी फिट इंडिया मूवमेंट हो उनके लिए जो एक रणनीति उनकी उत्तर प्रदेश में बहुत ही माननीय रही है, क्योंकि योजनाएं उन्होंने जो करी है उन सभी के बारे में हम सभी जानते हैं। तो लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन बुलाना चाहूंगी हमारे माननीय आदरणीय श्री सुनील बराला जी को। तालियों के साथ हम स्वागत करते हैं। साथ ही साथ I would like to call on stage to talk us the meaning of real women empowerment. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about, and please welcome with a big round of applause, Shrimati Amita Singh ji. She is the former badminton player and the Asian Games 1982 winner, President Delhi Capital Badminton Association. Now, I would like to call on stage, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to call Mr. Ravindra Manchanda ji, former treasurer of DDCA, and yes, I told you before, he is the close associate of Chetan Chauhan ji. Now, I would like to call on stage, please welcome Mr. C.K. Khanna ji, former president of BCCI. Ladies and gentlemen, now I am calling on stage a true Dronacharya, who not only himself a great player, but gave us the brand of cricket. Yes, I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Virat Kohli coach, Shri Rajkumar Sharma. And I would also like to call on stage जिन्होंने हमें जोश का मतलब सिखाया है। Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to call on stage Mr. Javed Iqbal, Major General Javed Iqbal. Ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to call on stage Mr. and Dr. Rajiv Tyagi. He is the Pro-Chancellor Venkateshwara University. तालियों के साथ हम स्वागत करते हैं। Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to call upon dais Mrs. Sangeeta Jetli ji. As we all know, the former Finance Minister, Arun Jetli ji. Finance Minister, I should say, he is the great Finance Minister of India. So I really want to know about, क्योंकि मैम से अच्छा कौन जान सकता है. So I would like to call upon Dice, Mrs. Sangeeta Jetwal ji. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मैम.
Ladies and gentlemen, especially the boys and girls who are into sports. My husband Arun and Chetan ji were very close. Both of them had put their heart and soul in promotion of DDCA and cricket in Delhi. I still remember when I was in college and senior school, the opening pair used to be Chetan Chauhan ji and Sunil Gavaskar ji. And consistently, if I am not wrong, Sangeeta, both of them scored a lot. But one distinction Chetan ji had was when he spotted Sunil Gavaskar, he would always score centuries and Chetan would always get out on 99. And every time he would reach 95, all of us would be holding our breath that maybe this time he crosses the 100 mark. But no, but he was a great sport to Mr. Gavaskar. The understanding these two had was unimaginable, and that is what makes a great sports person. He always played for his country. He always played for his team, not bothered that he's going to get 100 or not. But the spirit to do well for the country was there. There was no competition between both of them, but both of them had at heart to take India up. And in those days, the Indian team was not looked up with respect. In fact, I still remember the '84 World Cup. In England, the betting is legal. And the '83 World Cup, I'm sorry, not '84. It's legal. So many people would go to see the matches, not so many like now. The Indians, few Indians who were rich at that time would go for matches. So, or the diaspora who was in England. So, one of our Indians went to bet and they said, "You'd like to bet on who?" He said, "India." And they said, "Are you mad? Why India?" He says, "No, I'm Indian, I want to bet on my team." So the fellow put on 5 pounds or something, 10 pounds on India. So rest is history. When India won, he made a jackpot. But at that time, that was the condition of our country, our team, that we were not this thing when West Indies is there, Australia is there, England is there. What is India going to do? But our boys proved otherwise. And from there, I think there was no looking back. The boys who were understudy players really picked up and kicked up the team performance from then on. The same goes for other teams, the other sports. It's your focus, it's your dedication, and it's the support of the government who provide you all the facilities which will take you up to the sky, like we have just landed on the moon. So that is what you all must aim for. And that is what I'm sure Chetan ji and Arun would have liked you all to do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Now I request, सबसे पहले मैं रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूँगी श्रीमती राखी घोष एंड श्री तुषार घोष जो कि सोशलिस्ट एंड स्पोर्ट्स प्रमोटर हैं कि वो कृपया आगे आकर बैठ जाएं क्योंकि वो हमारे बीच में आ तो गए हैं, गेस्ट ऑफ ऑनर हैं आज के, लेकिन वो पीछे बैठे हुए हैं। सो हमें अभी पता लगा तो हम चाहेंगे कि वो आगे आके बैठ जाएं क्योंकि उनका महत्व स्पोर्ट्स जगत में काफ़ी योगदान रहा है। सो नाउ आई वुड लाइक टू कॉल अपॉन गाइस I would like to call upon guys Mr. Rohan Jetli ji. He is the President Delhi Cricket Association, as we all know. Sir, I request to kindly say few words. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon, namaskar.
सर आपके हाइट के हिसाब से माइक थोड़ा छोटा होगा, आपका कद इतना ऊंचा है, वैसे भी और वैसे भी।
All credit all guys, your best audience. Since my mother just spoke, I won't take much time. I'll just want to add into that a few events that I'm privy to. Today is also a day where we remember Chetan ji every year. It's been a long time, but it feels like yesterday. About 15 years ago, when my father headed the cricket body in Delhi, Chetan ji was a part of his team along with many others present here. Ravindra Manchanda ji, Ashok Sharma ji, Chetan ji himself was a part of it. The IPL had yet not started. He was still a few years away from the IPL. The concept of T20 cricket was yet unknown in the country, even within the cricketing fraternity overseas. The idea of building a new cricket stadium in Delhi came about, and since the funds were fairly limited, and the only fund generation that happens for a state cricketing association is essentially the hosting fees and the in-stadium advertisement that happens. Around the same time, the construction of the stadium had become, and you were in a semi-finished state, and a bilateral series with Pakistan came around. There were only test cricketing centers in the country. Most of them were hosting matches, including Delhi. Delhi was asked to host a match at short notice because the then president of Pakistan was going to come over to India, and there would have been a bilateral interaction with the then prime minister of the country. The stadium was under renovation. The pitch was effectively not there. The ground had, it was a construction site for all practical purposes. The whole team rattled in that this particular event has to be hosted come what may. The BCCI was nervous, but since the central administration had given an instruction that this game shall be hosted at any and every cost, then everyone worked towards one particular goal. To all the players here, it's a team effort that takes to make sure something happens. That game was hosted in a great manner. I remember all the people of the executive at that time, especially one of our directors here, Ashok Sharma ji, Chetan ji, night in the ground to make sure that the facilities are up to mark to host a game. Today, we are fortunate enough that we are now going to be hosting another World Cup next month, and now the infrastructure that was created by all of them back in the day has been handed over to us for a further upgrade to bring it up to an international standard of today. Then there was a dearth of venues hosting international events. Today there is a dearth of matches available for the number of venues across the country. The effect is that sports in today's era has become a lifeline for many. There's an honored badminton player between us. You would, and I'm sure she would agree with me, that sports is not sports what was 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. It's a whole different dynamic today. It's not about being a sportsman, it's about how you gel into a whole concerted effort of a team. Are you a team player or not? You might be an exceptional player, but if you're an odd one out in the team, the chances of you being there are very tough. You can't pull the team down, you have to carry the team along. It's become so specialized that within the cricketing system, what we see that it's a 365-day task. They were players in the past who had day jobs. The sporting activity was an additional activity, and their livelihood was by a profession or by a job or a assignment that they were at. But today, that's not an option that's easily available. It takes you about 12 hours of training, fitness, nutrition, regimen. Otherwise, you are done and dusted. I won't say much. All the very best and congratulations to all the winners for the award today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your efforts in creating all the infrastructure that we have today in India. As we are going to organize the World Cup, it is a great achievement in the field of sports. Now, I would like to call upon Dice Mrs. Amita Singh ji, I request kindly say few words on this auspicious occasion as we are here to celebrate the Chetan Chauhan Award. आज हम सभी के लिए over to you, ma'am.
श्री सुनील बराला जी, आदरणीय रोहन जेटली जी, आदरणीय संगीता जेटली जी, आदरणीय जावेद इकबाल जी, राजकुमार शर्मा जी, रविंद्र मनचंदा जी, राजीव त्यागी जी, of course Sangeeta Chauhan ji or Vinayak, and our host this evening, who's been holding this munch for a while now, Priyanka Singh, and all the powerful sportsmen, upcoming sportsmen I see in front of you. Let me begin by primarily thanking Sangeeta ji and Vinayak ji for giving me this opportunity of being a part of this event, the Chetan Chauhan Awards, dedicated to recognizing India's unseen heroes of sport. It's very meaningful. It's very, very meaningful for me to say the unseen heroes of sports, because I know that journey. There was a time when even I was unseen. For me, the joy of being here is doubled. One, for being a sportsman myself, but more so for being a part of this great event in the memory of a sporting hero, India's opening batsman, a role model to many, a parliamentarian who worked and served the nation, a man who led an exemplary life. Very dear to me, a little senior to me, but an extremely close friend of my husband. I spent a little time with him in the sports arena. My husband has spent time with him in Parliament. That's the closeness I feel to Chetan Chauhan ji. His legacy we see here today. People inspired by his journey, people who believed in his good work, and people committed to take this forward. That's what I see over here. Sangeeta ji and Vinayak ji, by bringing this foundation together, you have in fact given opportunity to his fans, to his supporters, to his friends, to contribute to sport and keep his memories alive by supporting the unseen heroes of tomorrow. Sports and politics does bring people together. And I must at this juncture also remember Arun Jaitley ji, who for me was a mentor, a philosopher, a friend, a guide, and not only me. Rohan, I must tell you that your father, often at the finance ministry, has even guided my daughter into becoming a lawyer. I will never forget that day when Arunji called my daughter Akanksha. I mean, that's how wonderful a person he was. He called her to the finance ministry. She was very young, at the juncture of deciding a career in life. And I remember him telling her to move towards law. She went abroad, she completed her master's, is a criminal lawyer today. And when she was back, having completed a couple of years in the legal world, I remember him calling her again and talking to her. She was very worried why she was being called to the finance ministry. It is a place, which does concern you when you are called. But Arunji actually called her to tell her it's time to get married. That's how wonderful these people were. So deeply connected, so involved. And today, it's really a blessing that we are all together and we remember Chetan Chauhan ji, Arun Jaitley ji, who have done great contribution in sports too. Badminton and cricket, अब ये सोच में आता है कि दोनों गेम में तो कोई सामंजस्य ऐसा लगता नहीं, लेकिन there has been a great affinity between badminton players and cricket players. मुझे याद आता है, Rohan, I must tell you this, that we were in a camp together. आज जहाँ पे प्रणोय को ये bronze medal मिला है, he played very well yesterday. Let me tell you that we were also preparing to go to the World Championships in Jakarta. और उसकी कैंप लगी थी हमारी बैंगलोर में. And at the same time, the cricket team was preparing for some event, and we were all there. और मुझे भूलता नहीं कि जब हमारी ट्रेनिंग शाम की खत्म हो जाती थी, तो we would try our hand at cricket, which I was miserable at. But we had Kapil, we had Gavaskar, we had Chetan Chauhan ji, we had Roger Binny, Kirman, all of them used to come and play badminton with us. They were beautiful days, they were wonderful memories. And I remember this journey of sport. I think it was some of the best times of my life. Every child here who's aspiring today to become a champion of tomorrow, I just want to tell you, just be at it. You can't tire, you can't give up. It's not one victory, it's not about just winning and losing. The journey itself is beautiful, can be enjoyed. Yes, it's tough, but it is not impossible. As Ranji was talking about sports today, I also would like to say that from the time I played and to what I perceive of sports today, truly, there has been a huge change. Sports in India today has changed from being looked at as a hobby or recreation to a full-fledged profession. In fact, I would thank our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, for having changed this very perspective of sports. Setting this narrative, he envisions India as one of the most powerful sporting nations on the globe. To be a sportsman in India has professional recognition, respect, support, and opportunity. I must tell you of one episode. मैं ऑल इंग्लैंड खेल रही थी in the 80s. I was at Wembley. And I distinctly remember that was that great All England where Prakash Padukone, the captain of my team, was playing the finals. And he had won that championship. For India, it was one of the biggest victories we saw. लेकिन मुझे याद आता है कि मैं वहाँ बैठ के जब we were cheering our captain to victory, there was Helen Troke, who was England's number 1, and then I was India's number 1. और मुझे याद है मैंने बातों बातों में हेलन ट्रोक को पूछा कि what do you do, Helen, besides playing badminton? Believe you me, she gave me a very surprised look. She said, how would you ask me this question? I play badminton. So she says, what do you do besides badminton? So I said, I work, I study. I had many other things to do. It was tough. It was very tough. That's why I say that the perspective of sports has been changed by the current dispensation, the government, our Prime Minister, where he has given full recognition to a sportsman. The profession has been now fully recognized, and you will not be asked if you are PV Sindhu, if you are a top-notch cricketer, if you're a football player, if you're a tennis champion. Nobody is going to ask you now कि what do you do besides this. मुझे लगता है यही एक बहुत बड़ा बदलाव है, क्योंकि हमें पढ़ना भी पड़ता था, खेलना भी पड़ता था, कठिन तो था, लेकिन खैर वो दिन अलग थे और आज sports has become a different game. Every child in India, even in the remotest villages of India, has been presented this opportunity by the government of dreaming and aspiring to be an Olympian. Through SAI, Khelo India, the TOP scheme, Fit India movements, there are n number of schemes that the government has brought forward, wherein at every level a child can opt for sports and move towards becoming a champion. It's now for you. I'm talking to the little ones here, all the ones who come for their medals. It's now for you to work, to build, to grow, to dream, to excel. Remember, champions are made of a different steel. Champions are made of a different steel. Don't tell anyone your dreams. Just show them. You don't talk about your dreams, you just show them. Today, sports promotion organizations, in fact, like where we stand, the Chetan Chauhan Foundation under the leadership of Sangeeta ji, are working to support your dreams for justice and fair play and for constant growth and development and change. Let us, more of us, step forward, join and support these efforts and contributions. Only then, with this hard work, sincerity, dedication, devotion, determination and undivided attention, will we be enabling our future generations to take India to the pinnacle of global success in sports. I am confident, very confident, we are reaching there. Remember, young players, it's not one match, it's not one tournament, it's not one event that makes champions. It is ceaseless labor, toil, hard work, discipline, focus, concentration, perseverance, tireless and almost repetitive routine. कभी कभी हमको भी लगता था कि छोड़ दिया जाए, सुबह 4 बजे उठना, रात को जो है जल्दी सोना, फिर पढ़ाई करना. But yes, day in and day out you will have to do that if you aspire for that Olympian gold. It is repetitive. It is tireless routines and more such tough attributes which goes into making champions. Champions are not made overnight. It is years of sweat and toil. सालों साल के आपका पसीना और जो मेहनत है leads to the moments of ecstasy. But there will be moments of disappointment, which eventually, all of this put together, will fulfill your dreams and aspirations, making you champions. Your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much willing you are to do it, but your attitude determines how well you do it. If the plan, I'm sure all of you make plans. हमने भी बहुत सपने देखे, plans बनाए, ये सोचा कि ये achieve कर जाएंगे, कभी-कभी वो workout नहीं करता है. But I want to tell every sportsman here, there is nothing called giving up. You can't give up. Just don't leave the field. Remember, if plan A didn't work, change the plan. Don't change the goal. Change the plan. Don't change the goal. The comeback is always bigger than the setback. हम भी हारे हैं. I know I have lost tournaments where I was leading match point, and from there I have lost. बहुत रोए भी हैं, लेकिन हिम्मत नहीं हारे. फिर लौट के आए उसी कोर्ट पे, मेहनत किए और मेहनत किए, and that's what makes you champions. Our coaches too, I would like to say, because Arunji, Rohanji just brought up that sports has changed. Today, I do believe that we need coaches with larger responsibilities to be enabling these children to achieve their goals. Remember, even the coaches have to realize that there is not one route, there is not one method, not one technique, not one type of winner. There are many ways to achieve the same goal. Real potential does not necessarily look perfect, and it takes some time, open-mindedness and imagination, curiosity and conviction to identify that talent. Why I brought up coaches at this event is that without a guru, it is not possible for a player to reach that success. So we have to look up to our gurus, and our gurus, our coaches, with all the respect that the child has to give, also need to upgrade